Welcome to another Sketchbook Playdate, a series I created to help you fill the pages of your sketchbook and have fun while making art. If this is your first time joining me, you have picked a very good video to start with, because this Sketchbook Playdate is all about starting a new sketchbook. Today, I will be sharing 5 tips or tricks that really take the pressure off of starting a new sketchbook. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, kicking us off with tip number 1. And you're probably going to be like, Sam, this is crazy, but bear with me, stick with me here. So tip number 1 is for you to ruin your perfect brand new nice sketchbook. And I know you're like, what? No, I'm clicking away. But stay a little while, because this is actually a very important step that I feel like, depending on how you want to look at your sketchbook, this is like a really important one. So every time I get a brand new sketchbook, I'm like, oh my God, it's perfect. It's beautiful. It's holy grail. I love it. It's so untouched. And I've learned that I need to not treat my sketchbook like a porcelain doll, like a precious little baby. Because when you do that, perfectionism kind of comes in, and then every stroke you make in your sketchbook, you're kind of second guessing yourself or overthinking it a little bit. So after a long time, I started just treating my sketchbook like just, I don't want to say like crap, because that's terrible. I love my sketchbooks. They're like my BFF. But I really just took the specialness out of it. It's just a tool to help me get my creativity out. It's a cozy old friend. And so right off the bat, I like to ruin my sketchbooks. I like to break the spine. I'll open them and break the spine so they lay flat on my desk. I will intentionally spill coffee on it, or lately, I don't know why, I've been really into beets, eating beets. I just keep buying cans of beets and eating them. So yeah, I'm gonna spill some beet juice on my beautiful, perfect new sketchbook. So I just want to say that if you are feeling resistance to this, just know that you are not alone. It reminds me of this teacher that I had in art school, and she would hand out our papers to do our final project on, and then she would make us hold up our piece of paper, drop it on the ground, and then dance on top of it. And I remember being like, this is crazy, but you know what? It really worked, because once you ruined something, your art, you could only go up from there. You put yourself in a position where your art is now going to save that piece of paper. And that's the kind of position that I like to put myself in with my sketchbook. My art becomes the hero. It's the thing that saves this sketchbook. And I also feel like it's important to kind of set the tone for your sketchbook if you want your sketchbook to be kind of like a creative playground, and less like something that's an Instagram flip through or something. So yeah, if that's what you're looking for, I would say don't skip this step. Okay, tip number 2. You guys know, if you've seen any of my sketchbook playdates, that I love to swatch my art supplies. I am a fool for swatching. I've done it so many times. I love doing it, and it's kind of how I ease into a new sketchbook, because I'm not quite ready to create art in it yet, but I need to start using it. I need to normalize it. So this is a low pressure activity that I like to do. And it also kind of it's really fun to look back at my sketchbooks and see what art supplies I was into at that time. I had this whole period before I went to France where I was just obsessed with my Neocolors. And then I went to France, I got a bunch of Neocolors at an art store, and then just stopped using Neocolors. Haven't used them since. So it's nice to see what phases you go through with your art supplies. Yeah, and this is also just such an easy practice. You can make it as easy or complicated as you want it to be. If you're like, Sam, I have no idea what swatching my art supplies is, no worries. I've got you covered. I actually have a whole sketchbook playdate about this fun technique and this fun way that I have started to swatch my art supplies. Um, but today I am going to take a simple route and I'm just going to do some really quick, like diagonal lines to swatch. You can swatch obviously in circles or squares, like that's how I swatched for many, many years. But I kind of like to get a little more fancy with my swatches these days and do a little something, something extra. Okay, moving on to tip number 3. This is something I do with most of my sketchbooks. Not every single sketchbook has this in it, but the majority of them do. And that's because I am like I'm a very like in touch with my intuition girly. And I like to set an intention with every sketchbook. And it's really beautiful to go back through my sketchbooks and kind of like see what I guess what challenge I was facing at that time because my intention is usually something about like overcoming that challenge. Um, and if you don't know what an intention is, it's kind of just like I would call it like a soft goal. It's kind of something that you're like, I want this sketchbook to be this. Maybe you want to work on your color mixing, and this is going to kind of be like your soft focus in the background. Or maybe you really want to start drawing people and hands, and you're going to use this sketchbook for that. Um, if you don't have an intention, you are more than welcome to use the sketchbook playdate motto, which you've probably heard if you've watched any of my sketchbook playdates, which is just use what you have, whatever art supplies you have on hand, use what you have, start where you are so you can start creating today. Um, but yeah, I always think like that's like my holistic overarching motto and goal and intention with art in general. But I think for this sketchbook, I'm gonna do kind of just like a fun little piece. Um, I'm gonna write like process takes priority because I'm very much so focused and honed in on the process of creating art and enjoying that more than fixating on the outcome. Yeah. So and don't overthink this. It doesn't need to be some grand vision, some beautiful lettering piece, like just I almost would equate it to like a quick little sketch or a quick little whatever. Like I'm not even going to sketch. I'm just going to go in with my markers and do my lettering and I have this like vision, I'm going to draw these like rays coming out and I'm going to call that a day. All right, we are already at tip number 4. And this is kind of an important one. It is not a requirement. Obviously, none of these are requirements. This is your sketchbook. You make the rules. You get to choose what you keep or what you leave. Um, but I like to do this more so with my travel sketchbooks that I take everywhere with me. I like to do a doodle contact page. And this is so you can, if you leave your sketchbook behind at an airport, on a train, anywhere, someone can know whose sketchbook this is and they can get it back to you. I usually put like my phone number, my Instagram, and my email. And instead of just like writing it, I try and make it pretty. And I usually do doodles like my Mexico sketchbook is, I did it on location. So it's very inspired by things I was seeing around me, like this little fish in the corner here. Like I saw that little fish motif kind of like everywhere through Oaxaca. Um, and my France sketchbook, I helped host an art retreat in France, and that one's very like fairy tale esque and very, so you can tell that I'm not like overthinking this. It's just doodles. So if you don't know what to doodle, just do your default doodles, your go-to comfort doodles. Like mostly mine are florals. That's just like my default. When I get a pen in my hand and I don't know what to draw, flowers are coming out of that pen. So yeah, have fun. Put your contact info if you want someone to find it and get it back to you. All right, we have made it to the final tip number 5. Um, this is something that I like pretty much do every single time. I've learned that it's very hard to start a new sketchbook, and I am a person who will carry an old sketchbook around for far too long. Like it will be full, and I will still be squeezing little illustrations into every little white space that I can see because I'm just so attached to my old sketchbook, and I've been carrying it around sometimes for up to a year. And this is something I started doing to really combat that, like, that feeling of loss, when you start a new sketchbook. And this is something I call bridge the gap. And I do it through like redoing a piece that you did from like the previous sketchbook or an old sketchbook. It's kind of like anything to make this sketchbook feel familiar and remind you of the good times you shared with your old sketchbook. So, what I do is I grab an old sketchbook, I flip through it, like I kind of like shop in my old sketchbook. And when I find something that grabs me or like that I am like, wow, that's horrific. Like, that's really terrible. I bet I could do that better now. It's like this daffodil piece from 2021. It's horrendous. I know I could do a better job today. So I am just gonna do daffodils. I'm not gonna do these. I don't know why I made them blue. Like, that's silly. Like, daffodils are like yellow or white. I don't know what I was thinking with blue colored pencil. I redo it in my new sketchbook. And this is beneficial for a few reasons actually. One, with this past piece redo that I like to call it, you get to see how much your skills have improved over the years. Because you're just taking like a control subject, which is the piece of art that you've already created, and you're recreating it again. And you can never create it exactly as it is because you've learned so much and you've grown so much. So this piece will probably be better. And two, it takes the pressure off because you don't have to reinvent the wheel this time. You don't have to pick the color, the composition, the subject, the medium. You can already use what you've already created. Or if you don't want to, you want to do it over again in a new way, you can just pick one of those things. If this is your very first sketchbook and you've never had one before, so you don't have like a catalog to go shopping in, I would recommend maybe checking out one of my other sketchbook playdates because they are filled with ways to fill up your sketchbook that are like really fun and easy. Um, People seem to like the fish one. That's a very popular one. Uh, my favorite is the playful pattern one. I had a lot of fun filming that. I had a lot of fun making that. But oh, also, I love the artwork in the butterflies one. And that one I talk about overcoming imperfection. So have your pick, choose one of those, and do that for your first art piece because having someone guide you through an art piece in your sketchbook will make it a lot easier to create in that sketchbook. Okay, and I do have two bonus tips for you. As always, these are not requirements, but these are just things that I have picked up over the years that I really enjoy doing, and they've made my sketchbook like feel very cozy and homely. And yeah, that I think that's the goal of a sketchbook is to just feel like it's your best friend and feel very connected to it. And these two things really help me feel that connection with my sketchbook. And the first one is personalize it with a photo. One of my side hobbies, like away from illustration and art, is photography. So I have a massive collection of photos that I don't know what to do with. Um, I use most of them as like bookmarks, and a lot of them I end up gluing into my sketchbook, or some of them, like a couple of my cameras, they print out on sticker paper, so I just stick them into my sketchbook. And it's been so fun these past couple of years, like adding that element of photography into my sketchbook. So I'm gonna add a photo. I have a lot to choose from. I actually really like this one that my boyfriend took of me literally this morning. He just walked in our room, picked up my camera, and took a photo. And it was like, it's a good photo. I was like, babe, this is you. You cropped this in great. You lined this up right. Like, look at the contrast behind my head, and these two things coming down from the sides are like framing me perfectly. My expression is like kind of silly because I'm like, babe, and you can see it in my face, but you know what? That's me in my bathrobe, guys. That's me in my OG habitat. So I'm gonna stick that in my sketchbook. And carrying on with the personalization theme, making it very custom to you, um, I have a sticker collection. Probably more stickers than any self-respecting adult should admit to having. And I collect stickers, but I don't always stick them onto things. I wait for the right moment to find the perfect spot for this sticker. But every time I get a new sketchbook, I break out my sticker files and I peruse through them, and I decorate my sketchbook with stickers. I have some here that are from when I went to Lightbox Expo a couple years back, and these Andy J. Pizza ones are from when I went to Portland and had such a fun time and met Andy, and he like gifted us a bunch of stickers, these stickers. And I have a bunch of Bando stickers because I order way too much like stationery from Bando. So I'm just gonna decorate my sketchbook with some stickers, and yeah. All right, you guys, that is all I have for you today. I hope you had fun hanging out with me and starting a new sketchbook and seeing how I start a new sketchbook. I hope that you learned something from this. Maybe you can decorate your sketchbook or swatch it or whatever makes your sketchbook feel cozy and homey, and gets you creating in it, more frequently. Because that's the goal, really, is to make art as much as possible if that's something that makes you happy. Let me know in the comments which tip was your favorite, which tip you're gonna do, maybe which tip you're like, nah, I don't need that. I would love to hear from you. Also, you guys, if you have any tips, like, I'm all ears. Let's start a little community chat and just get a bunch of tips together for taking the pressure off starting a new sketchbook, because I think it's something that we all go through. I've been doing it for quite a few years now, and I still get the nervous, like, gotta start a new sketchbook. So maybe we could all come together, band together, and combat that fear. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out and making art with me. I had a really good time with you. YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this. It's probably a sketchbook playdate, but this video up here. So maybe you could check that out. And also, I feel like I should say like and subscribe. It's just something that YouTubers say. So like and subscribe, or don't. Do you? I support you, whatever you choose to do. Okay, I'm rambling. Talk to you guys later. Bye.